Very good evening, everyone. And thank you, Lawrence and Jiaxin, for having me tonight. The topic really is being well. First of all, just right, I would say, COVID, and it's really probably the first time, Chope is really speaking and kind of like up reporting everyone, like what's the latest changes or our progress. Everything, interesting. And so data is probably the first thing we'd like to present to you guys. How Chope, build accessible data platform on GCP. First of all, I'm not sure, how many of you still know Chope, or have you ever heard of Chope? Well, yeah, I have a very, loyal user, and as well as many of you guys, I think. But I will try to explain a little bit. Yeah. So Chope, is a transitive, verb, Singapore slang. And it's a reserve seat in a place to eat by place something, or usually it's a tissue packet. Yeah. And what we do, I think, is like book, discover, save. So we're really on mission. We wanted to connect our diners with merchants. We started with book, really a book table, basically the booking engine only. And on the restaurant side, though, we're trying to be a a SaaS, like they can probably monitor, or they can operate more effectively. Means they have all the floor plan. They will know which table have a reservation, and this is probably where we started. And also during or before pandemic, we had discovery, and we had tried deals. We had tried delivery as well. Turned out like pretty good, I think. And now we have over, I would say a couple of thousand merchants already. Some of you also probably haven't really noticed. We're kind of like selling vouchers as well. So if you go to some of the purple tea, you can easily probably purchase via Chope. You can get a couple dollars maybe off. This is very popular, one of my favorites. So that's about Chope. Next, I'd like to really share a journey, like how we built the data platform. We were started in 2011 in Singapore, and now we are kind of like we had tens of million users every year. Not only Singapore, of course, we had other regions as well. So I like to say probably couple of like components when I see like a data platform. The first one is we call like a data intelligence. And the second part is the product intelligence. Sorry, there's a typo. And the third one is data infrastructure, or data warehousing, solution. I'll say, in the very long term, since the very beginning, we tried something very basic and manual. And it's kind of like we're really Excel experts, and so we run all the stuff on Excel. And then we realized, hey, this is not, it takes probably more than 10 minutes to, run the pivot table or something, and it's cracks sometimes, the Excel. Then we moved to BigQuery actually earlier than 2018, but yeah, around there. We had a combination of these, so we built lots of like dashboards on, based on BigQuery as well as the Data Studio. And then from data intelligence perspective, or BI perspective, business insight perspective, the most recent one we had is probably a combination of everything. We tried because we have preference from different departments, as well as we do have a unique or single source of truth solution in terms of like data warehousing, and then we love like the most recent, like BigQuery, Google Docs. We use it like a spreadsheet. Some of the very light data. We also have the automation. We love it because we have some of the script simply scripted there. And we have a third-party, BI tools as well. We have, I have a, presentation later, a slide later can show you guys. So this is really the one. It's really a mix of everything, but BigQuery is still, it's a single source of truth at the moment. Everything we wanted to stream over to, BigQuery today. And the second part is really product intelligence. And this one is more like we wanted to have a, better experience. When, let's say, we have a, tens of thousands restaurants, we wanted to figure out who, what are you really looking for, and those, kind of like a demand, right, pain point on behalf of the, diners we wanted to really address. We tried many versions, and from the very beginning, just simple API and relational database, because back then probably we have less than 100 restaurants, and secondly, we're having NoSQL like a sort of like solution. Most recently, we have this so-called like I think we're using GKE and Vertex API heavily. We use cloud endpoint and I think Vertex endpoints as well. So this helps a lot and allows us, to really build it, within the team size, right? 2 or 3 data scientists, or sometimes 1, and we can still build it on top of this. So this is probably the part we really like. The third one is really about data infrastructure, and there's a huge need, I would say, from very early. We don't have it, right? Then we create so many like discrepancies, and then BigQuery, and now we are sort of like we have a hub to basically stream over every single thing into BigQuery, and as our single source of truth. And on top of it, we have we tried a couple of like ways to really place our data governance. Yeah, so that's probably I can cover later as well. And challenges, I think it's very common, right? We're in the business, like we have probably so many vendors, service vendors. We have a various of business lines as well. So business lines here and there. So the challenge is really like scarred or duplicated dashboards from different offices, right? Maybe Indonesia or Thailand, they have their own maybe. So that's challenging, and it makes it harder to really, if you want to govern it, it's not super easy. And then lack of awareness of key metrics and data points is like no one knows. We created like a dashboard or something, and no one knows probably. I think it's an awareness issue. Yeah. And the third one is the uniformity and or the definition of metrics, and maybe it's too much data, or maybe it's a process. But the fact is like we have a different understanding, in terms of like metrics. So there's a need, right, to really unify the data and then define it uniquely, and then share with the team, every like again and again. So that's what we do. The other one's data governance required. This is super important. We are still trying, to exercise this, how to plug in, the module which can really oversees everything from access management to like a personal data, access, permission or audit. So that's another, I would say, challenge. The other one is loading speed. Some of the data is probably huge. We are trying to, basically seek, a better way. Not only like that, we might have different layers later. I can show you guys on top of like the data platform, like technical design or system design. And another one is really, I mentioned these data discrepancies in various systems. I think everyone, have this, or see this as a challenge sometimes. It's really difficult if you want to, tell a truth when you have multiple copies of the data. It's not possible. And the last one is really infrastructure requirement. And I would say like, our design is we utilize, the cloud, cloud GCP especially. So we can, still support this. We're building, all the key metrics dashboard, matters to our business. And this is super like important, I would say. Yeah. Well, next is our architecture. I can just, walk through roughly. And, on the very left side, we have the various of like data sources, right? We have various ways. I think it's more than tens at least, yeah, tens or, yeah. And we have, these, we have a figure, ways to really stream over the data, sync over the data from, the data source to our, data warehouse in the very middle. We have two components. One is data storage, the other is data processing, within our data warehouse. And based on these, basically, we have on the top, you can see we have one component is really business intelligence, and the other one is really like enterprise support. Yeah, we have a sort of like ERP solution, or based on these, based on our single source of truth data warehouse. And another one on the very left, top right, sorry. We have a data services. This is the one, we have a recommendation and API. We have search API, and we have later, in the middle, lower middle, we have this data scientist component based on Vertex, AI and Kubeflow. We used to have Airflow as well, and latest, version, I think we just remade it. And we also have Google Colab for verifying and validating our ideas, basically. So this is actually the the training model, and then when it's ready, we have either a way. We have two ways today, actually. Vertex API is providing the endpoint, and so our website, our mobile apps actually is invoking this API for better results and present to the end users. The other way is that we have some of the data existing data. We'll just put it there within a Kubernetes engine, and I think Redis or either Elasticsearch is faster according to our test. So that's another way we will support our product or user experience. Yeah. And interestingly, the bottom right side, we have the components from logging, access control, source code. All these are actually part of our data governance in components. And it's really based on, I think it's heavily based on, sort of like an audit trail. So we're kind of like, we can retrieve all the logs and see whether there are breaches, or not, or whether it's not following, least privilege, principle. If your service key have this, permission to a certain service, and they realize you never visited or never queried it, and then this is probably something wrong. So another, we're still exploring this part. Yeah. So hopefully, we can, update you guys when we have something new later. Well, next one is about, the what's happening today, right? I mentioned we're really refactoring it, and the more on the data warehousing, system here. We have this sort of like design. The very bottom we have data source, and this is raw data. Is straight is basically copied over from all the data sources from various systems. And L1 is really like data injection. ingestion. Sorry, we centralize everything in and cleansing work in L2, L3, L4. It's actually based on the need. Is kind of like we're trying to make sure if there's a need, like following the least privileges principle. If there's a need, we'll probably have these or we call it like a service account, right? When we're creating the service account on GCP, we will have a very specific layer specified, and these layers can be either a GCP project level or data set level on BigQuery. So that's literally how we guarantee the right people can access the right data as part of the data governance exercise. And this is a huge thing we're doing at the moment, and hopefully we'll be have something show you guys later. And some demos. Well, the first one is really, this is more about well, internally we call it like a gold mine. Okay, this is a project code. And this is actually, we're having these, so hopefully will help, we're expecting people to just search when they want to have some like data request. They want to see a dashboard, they want to see some report. We have a couple that we're building, we're adding it at the moment as well. From our business, you can see like reservations, right? We have a Chope Dollars, which is our loyalty program. You book more, you get more Chope Dollars. And order and pay is our latest business model. So you literally go to the restaurant, you can order from Chope app, and then you can pay from the Chope app. And others as well. There are like hundreds of a dashboard, I think. Yeah. And I don't have a very specific one because it's hard to for me to really wipe out the real numbers, and that's probably confidential to us. But it's literally like we can have a very granularity level of data access, and this is relevant to our marketing team, our finance team, our sales team, even our DevOps as well, our Scrum team, development team. So everyone literally are looking at this.